get a mental refresh, but also try to stay as sharp as you can. So yeah, obviously we got 8 more days now to get ready for our first one, so that's plenty of time for us to do that. So yeah, you just work through the progressions of the practices and so we can hit the ground running when we play Ottawa. I think Ottawa's the first one, right? Yeah.
How did you feel? I mean, was it
was it fun? That's one of those ones you're always knowing, no matter what, is going to be a little bit of a tougher one. So no, it's good to get back on the ice with the guys, and the energy was good with the guys too, so that's fun. So yeah, we'll work through it and just do what we got to do to make sure we're ready to play. That's what it's all about.
Will they be keeping tabs on the guys over the Olympics? Teammates from the U.S. already?
Yeah, I was able to watch some of the games. I was had my hands full at home with my family and kids though, so a little bit hit and miss being able to check out all of it. But this is obviously the time that's the most exciting now. I think Sweden plays right now, so we'll see what happens. And it could be a Sweden-U.S. quarterfinal potentially, so that'll be fun. But yeah, happy to see Mo. I know they advanced today too, so that's good. But yeah, trying to keep an eye on it a little bit from afar.
So how do you guys keep what you had going with such a long break? I mean, what's the key?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately every team has to deal with it, so everyone's in the same boat. But yeah, I think again it's almost a little bit like a second season within the season to some degree. Like obviously we can take a lot of positives out of that first 2/3 of the year, but by no means can we be complacent with where we're at. We want to keep pushing and keep raising our level, and that's what it's going to take for us to accomplish our goals and getting into the playoffs and playing playoff hockey. So that's all one game at a time, but I think that's always the best approach we can have is just one day at a time, and today it's focused on having a good practice, and we'll do the same thing tomorrow and build on that and try to hit the ground running when the games start.
You've been a part of a lot of different teams over your career. In terms of the stretch drive, what stands out about these next final weeks of the season? What are some of the important things that this group needs to kind of hone in on?
Yeah, I think any team down the stretch is consistency and resiliency. It gets harder and harder, the game, so you got to stick with it and stick with your process. When things maybe don't go your way, you can't afford to have any kind of slips and games when you're not kind of playing to your level or playing with that consistent standard that we've established for ourselves. So I think those two things are huge for any team going down the stretch. We've shown we can do it. Now we got to again keep pushing and finish the season, the regular season strong.
Maintain what you guys have going. I mean, this will be a long break here. How do you keep rolling the way you guys were?
Yeah, you know what? I think everybody's in the same boat, right? Every team is saying the same thing. We got to be ready for game one. We're no different. We think back to training camp. We came out, had a brutal first one there against Montreal, and then we were, the rubber kind of hit the road for us, and we took off. So look to do that right from the first game when we come out of the break.
I know momentum's hard to pick up after a long break, but how beneficial is just some time away from the rink to refocus, reset, family times, things like that when the stretch out's coming up here? Yeah, it's great. More so body-wise, getting your body, back to kind of a baseline, heal up injuries. January, February, those are kind of the dog days of the season. Your body's beat up. You haven't seen the sun in a while. So to get down, see some sun, be able to relax and heal up your body, welcome especially for an older player like myself. It's nice was it seeing Simon back out there.
It's great. I mean, he's a great player for us. Hugely important to the defense. Really good to have him back.
You're watching the Olympics. What stood out so far?
You know what? Honestly, on the break, I was mostly outside. I didn't get to see much. Maybe some highlights at night. But yeah. Well, now that we're home, I'll probably tune in a little bit more. I was watched a bit of Mo's game this morning. Got to see him a little bit. That's about it. I haven't watched much.
So where you been?
Just outside on the beach.
Oh, on the beach though. Yeah, there you go. Nah, yeah.
Outside all day. Yeah. So when the sun's out there, we're out there with the kids. So that's where I spend most of my time.
How different is the hockey down the stretch? Can you explain what's different about maybe this last 24 games and maybe how better prepared you think this group is to handle?
Yeah, way tighter checking, a lot less room out there. Sort of down the stretch run, everyone's jockeying for position in the playoffs, or or just battling to get into a playoff spot. So the games get a lot tighter. Our team specifically is we're better equipped to handle it now with the way Todd's come in and Trent, the style of game they want us to play. How we manage the game is a lot different now. I guess I'd say more maturity out of the group, age-wise and playing-wise, just from the coaches. So definitely in my time here as a Red Wing, we're more equipped now than ever.
Well, Coach, speaking of that, just how great was it to just unwind for a little bit during the break, and then how did you feel about the pace of practice today?
Well, the first part was good for everybody. I'm sure even for the media, like just to take a short period and catch your wind, and now it's going to get going again. So that's a pretty simple answer. As far as today goes, 2:00 in the afternoon practice. They're professional athletes. They take care of themselves while they've been away, but they just haven't skated or handled pucks at that pace. So a little bit ragged, but as expected. I thought their commitment to the practice was real good, though. They stuck with it, and when they weren't feeling the best, they pushed their way through it. So a good starting day. And then Simon's out there again. Are you anticipating him to hopefully be ready by the time the schedule resumes, or is that still kind of on a take it by year basis? No, expect him to be ready based on where he's at right now, and looking into the future with the trainers and everybody's involvement, he should be ready.
Yeah, Todd, just to follow up on Simon, just how much is a guy like that missed? I mean, with the ice time that he logs, playing against top competition, penalty kill, and all the things that he does for the team? Well, we missed him. You could see our play wasn't as strong, in my opinion, as when we had him in the lineup. Not just due to him being out, but other factors. What happens when you lose somebody like that, others have to step up, and we always give you that cliche, next man up, whatever. But it's sometimes asking individuals to do more than maybe they've done in the past. And that's really stretching the depth out. I think of Bernard Docker. We've had him on the left. We've had him on the right. Minutes go up. He's been a tremendous player for us all year. But now we're asking him to do more in playing his offside. And that's not easy to do. So, but every team runs into injury problems. We're just one of them.
How much Olympics have you watched, and what have you thought of what you've seen?
Well, that's a loaded question because it could be hockey-based, but I've watched a lot of the other sports as well. But the hockey has been pretty much as expected. I think the intensity level's building. The chemistry is beginning to happen with the teams from North America more than anywhere. Some of the other nations have their tournament breaks and stuff like that where a lot of their team can be together. But I think we're going to see the fun part now over the next few days. So I think that's going to be an exciting week for everybody to watch. But the other sports have been spectacular too. You don't realize how skilled and talented these athletes are and what they do. Like it is, they train for 4 years to go and skate for under a minute in a speed skating race. That's commitment, and the things that they can do on those skis and skates, and it's remarkable. Really appreciate it.
And then you've talked about this stretch as kind of a pseudo training camp, but what are the biggest differences in how you approach this versus obviously in September?
Well, the management of roster. In some sense, maybe we're one of the luckier teams because we only have 3 athletes there, and the majority of our team is here, so we can run practice with generally a full slate of lines and pairs. But if you compare this to training camp itself, we're not running 55 guys through 3 different sessions and starting from scratch. We're just trying to reestablish our game, both physically, mentally, timing, feel. We will approach it beginning tomorrow like it was in training camp, where we pick parts of our game. Today had nothing to do with that. It was all about feel and skating and passing and shooting. And then we have a plan to take it up and then bring it back down. We'll have an off day And then we'll get revved up next week with, whoever's back for practice. A lot of areas to cover. But we have a group that's already, or should remember and understand the foundation. If they don't, we're in deep trouble. But they should remember and understand everything. It's just about refreshing it.
Dad, you kind of alluded to it. Like, were you even concerned that somebody was going to come here out of shape, or even like compared to 15 or 20 years ago? Are the athletes just different nowadays, or what?
Yes, they are. I think the game evolves and changes. Morning skates used to be there because you guys would go out on the road maybe 20, 25 years ago out on the road, and you'd skate in the morning just to get everybody back in line. We don't have to do that anymore. Morning skates are for players to get prepared and feel good if they want to. The skates themselves are disappearing, especially late in the year. A lot of optionals, but the guys take care of themselves. They know they need everything from head to toe to have success as a team, but also individually in their careers, and they're not going to jeopardize that. So for the most part, they're well trained.
Breaks like this are often a time to self-scout. In your self-scout, if you did, are there one or two areas where you think this group needs to take a step forward here coming out of the break?
Well, we took this time to analyze where we're at in a lot of different areas, basically our whole game. So power play, people were looking at the power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, and then we look at numbers at the break, where are we at, and there's certain numbers that you almost have to hit to make the playoffs, whether it's goals for, goals against, on average, power play, penalty kill, a lot of different things. And we looked at those numbers. We're right there. We don't have a big cushion. We don't have a huge cushion for goals for, goals against. Our power play hasn't given us, or penalty kill hasn't given us a big cushion, but we're right there. We've improved in a lot of areas from last year, which is helpful. Is there one or two areas that we have to polish up? We'd like to score more. We'd like to score more 5-on-5. And this will give us a little bit of time to work on some of those things, some of the concepts that maybe we don't get to work on as much during the year. When we look at chances for and against and expected goals and all that type of stuff, we're getting opportunities. The last game in Utah, we didn't play our best, but we had multiple scoring opportunities there. The goaltender played outstanding. We didn't finish, and we need to bear down and polish some of that up. We create the chances. We just got to finish it.
A couple of the guys talked about the stretch drive coming up once play resumes. What makes these final few weeks, months of the season so different than the beginning of it, obviously, with the stakes higher and teams starting to settle in now?
Yeah, that the mentality of you even asking the question with the stakes being higher, you're getting closer to the finish line. But in a marathon, mile 1 is the same as mile 26. It just, you value it a little bit different, but it's still the same. And we tried to stress that in the first 2/3 of the season. Like, these points are just as valuable as game 82. But because everybody's mentality is, as you asked the question, it gets more intense. Everything gets tighter. You run out of days, points, and games, to get to where you want to go. And eventually, for the teams that don't make it, it just dries up. There's no more time. You run out of it. So that creates a real sense of urgency, not just for our team, but for every team that's battling.